Donkey Kong. You've heard of the arcade, you've heard of 3, country, land, conga, and everything in between. Donkey Kong is one of the oldest and most celebrated franchises, so I thought I'd never be covering a game from the old ape. You'd know by now that I can't be asked to talk about a game people actually know and care about. I also love some neat arcade history. Donkey Kong has a ton of that. Shigeru Miyamoto and Radar Scope, the lawsuit with Universal, Ikigami Tsunshiki, and their involvement with the development, all these will make great videos, but of course, I ain't talking about those. These aren't even Nintendo games. They're bootlegs. Introducing Crazy Kong, a knockoff Donkey Kong officially licensed by Nintendo by a company that completely broke their contract, which led to the CEO's arrest. This ain't no simple cash grab, so grab some popcorn and get ready for the crazy story of Crazy Kong. Enjoy. Donkey Kong exploded in popularity pretty much as soon as it launched. Across the world, everyone wanted to play it at an arcade, and those who did couldn't stop. The demand for new cabs dwarfed the supply. Beforehand, Nintendo's video arcades weren't coming close to the amount of success Donkey Kong was seeing. It was getting super overwhelming over at Nintendo, and they needed to do something about it. So, to cut back on that demand, Nintendo struck a deal with Falcon Industries. Falcon paid $100,000 to get the license to produce PCBs, and for every board sold, Nintendo would get a $100 royalty. They were also strictly instructed that these machines would be produced and sold in Japan for Japan. Can you see where this one's going? Nintendo had each Crazy Kong board have a licensed by Nintendo sticker placed on it in English. That was a pretty big mistake on their end. Falcon took this sticker of approval and sold Crazy Kongs to distributors and operators across the world. None of these distributors were told selling Crazy Kongs was illegal, and that sticker led them to believe that this was indeed an official product produced by Nintendo. Obviously, arcade owners knew that Donkey Kong was a better product, but since they were pretty much unobtainable for a time, Crazy Kong was the best you could get. Getting any sort of Donkey Kong game would mean a huge amount of quarters, and for smaller businesses like mom and pop arcade, gas station, or pizza place, they couldn't miss out on these profits. Also, they were cheaper. When arcade manufacturers have a hit on their hands, they can charge whatever they want for it. If a game does well, they can add an extra $200, $300, $400 onto the price of the cabinet. This ties into those small businesses who not only can't get a Donkey Kong cabinet, if they could, they might not even be able to afford it. All these factors made illegal Crazy Kongs a success, and cabinets started popping up across the country. Falcon also produced an update, Crazy Kong Part 2. The original Crazy Kong was weird and buggy. I'll get into more detail in the review section. Part 2 attempts to be more accurate to the official Donkey Kong. They also added this original cutscene of Kong breaking out of a cage. Shigeru Miyamoto was actually impressed by this cutscene, saying, "I thought I'd been outdone." Nintendo of America took notice. Howard Lincoln said,
"It was such a clear ripoff, so I was always surprised when I came across one, usually in a shady location."
December 24th, 1981, Nintendo of America sued Direct Connections, a manufacturer and distributor for selling Crazy Kongs in the US. The judge sided with Nintendo and dismissed the claims that Direct Connections had a license. Even though the boards had that sticker of approval, Nintendo of America is a different company than Nintendo of Japan, and any deal made in Japan will not carry over to the States. Importing arcade games from Japan to America was considered copyright infringement. Direct Connections were perhaps one of the first to be prosecuted to the full extent of the jam. However, that was just one distributor. Anyone could counterfeit games and start selling them. They had to take things to the next level. February in 1982, Nintendo of America got a preliminary injunction to seize Crazy Kong cabinets across several states. They continue to bring these injunctions across America, threatening everyone from huge arcade operators to bookstores. They even posted this wanted ad in Replay magazine. Bottom line is, if you had yourself a Crazy Kong cabinet, you were being actively hunted by the Nintendo ninjas. Still, this only applied to American-based manufacturers and sellers of Crazy Kong cabinets. Falcon Industries over in Japan had yet to face any consequences. A lawyer of the defendants, Mike McEntee, stated that the deal with Falcon only meant that Falcon couldn't sell these games in the States. There was nothing stopping anyone from importing boards and selling them on their own. The judge was not convinced, and Nintendo ended up winning. Over 1,000 Crazy Kong cabinets were impounded, and soon enough, Falcon was in court. Nintendo had claimed they went far beyond the original agreement by exporting games outside of America, and they were subsequently not allowed to produce any more Crazy Kongs. Nintendo had won once and for all. But as soon as Donkey Kong Jr. dropped, Falcon had the genius idea to make a completely unofficial knockoff called Crazy Jr. This led Nintendo to find a criminal complaint and threw the CEO of Falcon Industries in jail. It is truly astonishing to me how anyone over there thought this was a good idea. Unfortunately, it is super duper extremely ultra rare. This game is so historically significant, it's a shame you can't play it in MAME. So to all the arcade collectors and fans out there, please don't be a snob about original hardware. If you have this game, try to dump it so it can be forever preserved. I'm a big advocate for this stuff, and there's truly nothing worse than some neckbeard-shutting collector who hoards one-of-a-kind media. This is a stretch, but on eBay, I found this unknown Falcon PCB. I have no clue how to identify PCBs, but if you don't recognize this as a Crazy Kong or any of their other games, this very well might be Crazy Jr. after all. So, that was quite the story, huh? Pretty insane stuff. I've talked about Crazy Kong's history, but now it's actually time to play the games. Really wish I could play Junior, but hopefully this video will bring awareness for it to be dumped. Let's start with the first Crazy Kong. Now, of course, this is a bootleg, so it doesn't run on original Donkey Kong hardware. They reuse boards from Crazy Climber. Perhaps that's where the name Crazy Kong comes from? The first thing anyone will notice are the graphics. Since this is a modification of another game, they have to use the same graphics and sound engine. The girders are green instead of that magenta color. Mario isn't red and blue. Instead, he's some sort of light brown. He looks like his Super Mario Bros. NES design. This game came out 4 years before that. I'm pretty sure it was just a coincidence, but it is a possibility that they were a little inspired by Falcon's rendition of the plumber. Crazy Kong isn't looking too good. Few of his sprites are just traced over but with a different color palette. His look isn't consistent throughout the game. In the cutscenes he's brown and green, but in gameplay he's neon red and orange. On 25 meters, you'll notice he isn't animated very well. CK has no need to flip around and grab barrels from the stack. They'll appear from his hands as he inverts left and right. In the rest of the levels, he faces forward. This sprite's original and doesn't look very good at all. Now there's certainly worse Donkey Kong sprites out there, but this still ain't nearly as good as the original. None of the colors stay consistent in each level. 75 meters has orange girders, 50 meters has green and red, but 100 meters retains its color at the cost of blue CKs on the How High Can You Try screen. Take a look at Mario at the end of this level. Wait, how high can you try? Yep, in the original, it says how high can you get. These boards aren't as powerful as Donkey Kong boards, so on 75 meters, only 3 platforms can be on the screen at a time. This makes things a lot harder and slower. Crazy Kong also has some super jank hitboxes. Nothing here feels natural. Things that barely scrape by you connect and kill. Collectibles only get picked up when you reach a certain spot, and take a look at this. You can just walk right past CK up here. So yeah, the graphics are weird and bad, and the gameplay isn't right. But that's only half the story. The audio is straight up awful. Cue the montage. Since they share the same board, this game uses the sound effects from Crazy Climber. If you've played that game, which I have a lot, it makes Crazy Kong an extra weird experience. But, I mean, come on here. Crazy Kong sounds straight up awful. It's high-pitched and shrill. The little riffs are slow and annoying, especially that level complete theme. Ugh, compared to the original, it's night and day. So, let's take a look at Crazy Kong Part 2. This has the same levels as the original, but attempts to clean up the presentation. Like I said earlier, this game has a cinematic of CK escaping from the zoo. At the end, when you beat 100 meters, Kong tells Mario to give up. The colors here still aren't the magenta of the original, but they're a much closer orange. This is a lot easier on the eyes. Mario looks like he should, Kong is brown, but still sometimes blue. His sprites and animations are still the same, but it isn't as jarring with the better colors. In round 2, they added some gaps on the girders at 25 meters. They took out the glitch of being able to walk behind Kong, but in its place is an even more fun glitch. On 25 meters, if you jump back here in just the right spot, you'll fall through the ground and instantly beat the level. Incredible. Overall, while Crazy Kong Part 2 cleans up the presentation a bit, I don't think I prefer it to the original. If I want a shitty Donkey Kong, I'll go all out and have everything be bad. There's just something so endearing about this version of the game. Every aspect is just worse. The music sucks, the graphics are weird, the physics aren't right. It's like playing an alternate universe version of Donkey Kong. On top of the incredible history, I can't help but love this game. It's just so charming and cool. If you're a fan of Donkey Kong, I recommend you give this a play. It kinda sucks, but it's still Donkey Kong, and a fun thing to try just once. Hope you'll learn something new on this ride of obscure arcade trivia. This story was indeed crazy. That's about all I have to share for today. Until next time, I'm Amiiben, and I'll catch you later. If you watched the last video, you'd know about the Blu-ray giveaway. Well, that's come to a close, and I'm here to announce the winners. Drum roll, please. Eliezer Crawford, Ezra Walker, and Slamphibian. Congratulations to the winners. You'll receive a DM or email shortly, and I'll ship these out very soon. See ya!